all would be revealed next Tuesday, January 26th. The dog stirred herself, lapped gratefully at the bowl, and reluctantly followed her handler back into the glare. The search grid was approximately 10 by 20 metres. It was in a patch of bush reserve known as Thompson's Lake, at the southern end of the freeway. The lake itself had gone down the gurgler with a succession of dry winters, followed by the summer heat. All that remained was a crust of cracked mud and desiccated waist-high grass. To keep the native animals in and the feral cats and dirt bikers out, the whole area was ringed by a high fence. That posed the first problem. How do you get a body in? They'd all just trooped through a turnstile gate on Russell Road like they were headed for a day at the Royal Show. There were vehicle access tracks into the park, but none near here. Cato could think of plenty of places to bury a corpse, but this wasn't top of his list. White-tailed black cockatoos screeched tetchily from the treetops. The handler whispered to Minty, patted her, and set her free to follow her nose. A line of uniforms and emergency service volunteers started another grid sweep. "I'm pretty sure I left her over there." Cato looked at the man who spoke. Gordon Francis Wellard. Nudging late 40s, goatee, jaded bohemian look. Shorter than Cato had imagined, but there was a hint of muscle to deter those who might want to take him for granted. Laugh lines spidered out from crafty eyes. You could imagine him sitting outside Gino's mid-morning, stretching out his macchiato and pontificating on the dearth of arts funding in a so-called boom state. Wellard was sitting handcuffed in a fold-out picnic chair between two corrective services officers, all of them sharing a smoke and a joke. It was a big day out for him. Wellard was already serving life for one murder. Now they were searching for another, earlier victim, Briony Susan Petkovich. Bree, as her mother called her, had been missing for over 5 years. This was unfinished business for the missing girl's mother, Wellard's ex-wife. That was her, standing a few meters away in a sun hat, singlet, and cargos, holding a metal T-probe. Shelley Petkovich had known Wellard had something to do with it from the moment her daughter went missing. According to the files, she had endured Wellard's taunting for the last 5 years. She had pleaded with him to give Bree up. Countless prison visits, some at her request, many at his invitation. Some lasting the full hour, others just 30 seconds. All to no avail. He made it up as he went along, according to how he might be feeling that day. But now that he was locked up and thought he had something to gain, he'd finally reconsidered his position. The police had been nervous about putting his bizarre conditions to the mother, but she'd consented without hesitation. Anything was better than not knowing. So here she was, with the T-probe, prodding the earth for her daughter's body, under the direction of the murderer. In spite of the heat, the idea made Cato's skin goosebump. "Or maybe over there?" Wellard said, a pensive finger to his lips, like he was deciding where to put the new furniture. "Yes, getting warmer, definitely." Funny as. D.I. Mick Hutchins stepped between man and ex-wife, obscuring their views from each other and trying to keep the whole thing from unravelling. This was his idea. D.I. Hutchins obviously scented a result. All Cato could smell was sweat, smoke, and something sour. Minty barked once, wagged her tail, and pawed at a patch of sandy ground. They surrounded the dog as she sat waiting for her treat. The handler patted Minty and gave her a dog lolly. Hutchins